Good afternoon. Have you ever known somebody who's been sexually assaulted? Was their assaulter convicted? Have you ever known somebody who had their medical concerns pushed aside by a professional? Take a moment to really think. Was this person by chance someone who identifies as a female? I'm a female who knows several people who have been sexually assaulted or had their medical concerns pushed aside by a doctor due to their gender or sex. On top of this, I've performed extensive amounts of research to find credible and thorough sources on my topics that I'll be discussing today. Women are put in danger and harmed every single day due to the ignorance and lack of care society has for their health, safety, and their rights. Today I will be helping you understand the danger women face when it comes to their overall well-being, safety, and liberties. Let me begin by going into women's safety and how it's put at risk. Let's look at the ways women are put at risk, for starters, when it comes to their safety. There are several concerning factors, and one of the biggest is sexual assault. According to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, otherwise known as RAINN, in an article titled Victims of Sexual Assault Statistics, an American is sexually assaulted every 68 seconds. Also from RAINN, of those people assaulted, 90% of adult cases and 82% of juvenile cases are all female. With these large numbers of women being assaulted, it is no wonder that their safety is a concern for so many today. Not only are adult women in danger, but younger girls are also at risk daily with the possibility of being assaulted. To continue, even when women report these assaults, they know that the people that have harmed them won't face many repercussions. According to RAINN again, in an article titled Criminal Justice System Statistics, out of every 1,000 sexual assaults, 975 of the perpetrators will walk free. These high rates of assaults and low rates of conviction just prove how often women are put in harm's way due to the lack of care for their well-being. When one woman is harmed, countless others are now put at risk. Continuing, many people blame the high rate of sexual assault on women, claiming that they are asking for it. But is this really just due to sexualization? Women are constantly sexualized in the world today over the most random and simple things possible. In fact, this sexualization happens in the media more than people ever think. Jamie Swift and Hannah Gold, two UNICEF workers on UNICEFUSA.org, in an article titled Not an Object on Sexualization and Exploitation of Women and Girls published on January 11, 2021, they showed in a research at Wesleyan University across 58 different magazines, 51.8% of advertisements that featured women portrayed them as nothing more than sex objects. This sexualization is seen in the public every day, whether that be by adults or even small children. To continue, this view of women as objects leads to their direct harm out in the world. So there's the degrading of female sex workers. Sex work is still considered a crime in many places across the globe, which puts these workers in danger. As stated by Lala B. Holston Zannell from the American Civil Liberties Union on the website aclu.org in the article Sex Work is Real Work, and it's time to treat it that way. From June 10th of 2020, sex workers are often abused by police officers, forcing them into sexual acts and threatening worse consequences if these workers don't comply. With that abuse, the police hardly face any consequences, since these women are just sex workers who are seen as objects, but they're still hurt in countless ways with no concern. Moving on, a woman's safety isn't just put at risk due to possible assault, but also due to the dangers to her rights and choices. On top of over-sexualization and daily safety threats, women are constantly threatened with having their rights taken away. For starters, with reproductive rights, and in America, the threats to overturning Roe v. Wade. There's the debate between pro-life and pro-choice, and incorrect information constantly being spread. At the end of the day, it is up to a woman what to do with her body, whether that be to have an abortion or not, or to take birth control or not, etc. The people on the other side of the argument feel that women should not have any kind of choice with what they do with their bodies, thus taking away their own autonomy. In addition, there's the never-ending fight for women's equality in the world with their pay. In the article Gender Pay Gap in the U.S. Held Steady in 2020, that was written by Amanda Barroso and Anna Brown from the Pew Research Center on the website pewresearch.org, a woman earns only 84% of what a man earns, and women would have to work an extra 42 days to make up for that gap. If a woman does the same job as a man and does just as much work, that woman should be paid with the same compensation. After discussing how women are put in danger in terms of their safety and rights, let's move on to discussing the dangers they are faced with within their health. My final issue lies in the medical negligence and malpractice women are faced with. Women's reproductive health has always been a field with rather large lack of knowledge or care, and that's still true today. When a woman goes to her doctor to seek help for pain or problems, she's often waved up with a simple prescription and told to come back if anything worsens. In terms of specific reproductive disease known as endometriosis, it takes a woman anywhere from 4 to 11 years to get a diagnosis, as informed by Charlotte Myers from the article The Ultimate Guide to Endometriosis Misdiagnosis in 2020, from endometrics.com on September 24th of 2020. My mother, who has endometriosis, had debilitating pain in 3-week-long periods from the age of 13 until 44. In those 31 years of pain, my mother went to 6 different gynecologists, and had different surgeries before she's correctly diagnosed and treated for her stage 4 endometriosis. Women's health and safety in terms of pregnancy and birth are also put at an extreme risk. Pregnancy and childbirth are naturally regarded as dangerous tasks that can have a lot of risks at hand. According to data gathered by Rosenberg, Mink, Folkoff, and Wolf LLP on their website rmfwlaw.com on August 9, 2021, in an article entitled The Rising Pregnancy-Related Injuries and Death in the U.S., around 700 to 800 women die from pregnancy-related injuries in the U.S. every year. On top of this, the same source states that 2 out of every 3 of these deaths, once reviewed by a peer, were viewed as preventable. With all this death being preventable, then why were they not prevented in the first place? These doctors dismiss women and their issues, or simply don't care enough to notice these details despite the possible dangers of pregnancy and childbirth. Finally, let's review all the information that I presented to you today. As I've shown you today, with the research and data about reproductive rights, safety, and medical malpractice women are faced with, you can now understand that women are constantly put at risk. Their safety is at risk due to the high rates of sexual assault. Their rights have been stripped away by losing choice over their own autonomy and pay. Their health is at risk due to negligence and lack of care for their pain. All this data proves that a woman's well-being is at risk every single day. After giving you this information, I want you to leave with a newfound understanding of the daily risks women face. Every day, whether we are in our own homes, out in public, going to school, or are in any area that is supposed to be labeled as safe, we are put in a possible place of harm.